And naturally, I'm a Tottenham man, obviously. I can reflect back to being a player with and manager of some of the finest players that have ever been in the game.
The place is fantastic, the tradition of this club.
To be the manager of 3 cup-winning teams here, I'm so lucky, it's untrue.
Hotspur America podcast, airing every week during the English Premier League season.
What a glory, glory night at White Hart Lane. This great and historic football club.
Joyful night down the Tottenham High Road.
Hotspur America, the original US-based podcast dedicated solely to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Gascoigne gonna have a crack. He is, you know. Oh, I say! Schoolboy's own stuff.
I hate Arsenal, just hate them.
Oh, what a goal! Unbelievable! Wow, this is incredible.
We're the Yids in America.
Dempsey's there to tap in.
What a fantastic run! He scored! Alex Turner, Eric Dyer.
This is your Hotspur America. Hotspur America, episode 13, the North London Derby Hangover, and we are finally recording this episode. Sam and Simon are with me today. Sam, how you doing?
I'm well. First question of this week comes from Keith Nicholson. Are you recording?
We are recording now, Keith, and we love you dearly. Here's a hug from across the pond. Thanks for the question. And we are in 3 different states. As everyone knows, I've moved to Missouri from Dallas. Sam is home with a very pregnant Mrs. Sam.
Yep.
And Simon's traveling for work. Where are you at?
I am in Tennessee.
Better ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, make your pig squealing noises. I am in the eastern part of the state in a little place called Pigeon Forge, which is just up the road from Gatlinburg.
Which is actually a beautiful part of the country, by the way.
Yeah, it's in the Great Smoky Mountains. This is where everyone will laugh. It's my first time here. It's the first time visiting this particular restaurant, and Dolly World is the main attraction in Pigeon Forge. That is Dolly Parton Dolly World. So I haven't seen it yet. I just had to drive like 15 miles to find a liquor store to get some moonshine, which always makes the pods go just that little bit better.
What's the marquee ride at Dolly World?
It's probably got something to do with triple D's or something like that. I have no
Sorry, it was just a random
clue. But I'm telling you, our restaurant's located next to the local Opry, and I'm telling you, this town looks like Santa Claus threw up all over it already. It is decked out for Christmas.
Oh, they
kid thee not.
And at time of recording, it's only the 10th of November. We haven't even eaten the turkey yet.
Man, that's
I know.
God's country there.
It's crazy, and it took me like an hour to get it from Knoxville, which is 25 miles away, because it's all sleepy country roads. But it's a cool experience for me, and I head off to Nashville on Thursday morning.
What? Say that again. Just say Nashville again.
Wow,
that's
Nashville.
Now listen, all kidding aside, I love that city. I've been there 3 times. I would move there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Where, Nashville?
Yes.
Yeah, no. My daughter has applied to a school there, and I wouldn't be unhappy if she gets in and that's where she wants to go to school.
Vanderbilt?
Pretty stoked.
No, Belmont.
Looking after the state.
Okay.
Well,
you know what?
Spurs.
That was fun family time. Let's talk about some North London Derby, shall we? Listen, I've got this down as a bullet, and it's kind of near the bottom of this. Raise your hand, if you're disappointed with the draw, walking away from the draw. And how good is what we are doing as an organization and a club that we are walking away from the Emirates disappointed with the draw? Because I felt disappointed with that draw. I thought we should have won.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you bring up, and I think we have to cast our minds back to September last year and ask the same question. Were we disappointed or ecstatic that we got a draw at the Emirates last year?
Thrilled.
Yeah, because it was great that we were leading, but it was inevitable that Arsenal would peg us back, and they came at us hammer and tongs in that last 15, 20 minutes in that game, and Hugo had to stand on his head to pull off some really good saves to get us the point. I think this time, you are spot on. We should be disappointed, and we'll talk about the ifs, the maybes, and preventing the equalizer, and how we kind of hung on there. But I'm disappointed that it was a draw because I thought we had 3 points in the bag.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. Somebody, I can't remember, it was somebody from one of the other podcasts, really knowledgeable, respected guy, made the comment, well, always felt like their style of play was still better, that they still were more of the complete product, and I just respectfully really disagreed. I thought that was, and we've had a number of matches this year where we've stopped and said, wow, that's the best performance of the year. That was the best performance of the year. I mean, there, could have been more attempts to scare the goal, but in terms of complete quality of play from the back four all the way to chances against a very good team in a very hostile environment, I would agree. I think the result, though, was somewhat fair when you really break apart the match itself. But yeah, I think I'm disappointed, and I think it's where we are as an organization that disappoints me in the way that we played. So,
you know what, Sam? You bring up a really good point, though, because we did, as a squad on the pitch, we did everything absolutely right, except defend set pieces.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Horrid.
Yeah, it was terrible.
If there is one thing that really needs to be addressed during this international break, is coming up with ideas, coming up with assignments, I guess is the best way to put it. Dyer, for as well as he played, looked lost trying to figure out a way to defend Giroud.
Yeah.
And he had 3 free headers. One hit the crossbar. Was it his that hit the crossbar?
Yep, he did. Yep.
And then he took one on the
as well.
volley or half volley.
Yeah, he hit and they hit the upright on one, hit the post on one. I said the upright NFL term.
Giroud should have had 3 goals. Should have had 3 headers.
Right.
To walk away, I think, had one that was a near miss as well.
And I think that, I try to put it into context, and I'm like racking my brain trying to figure out why did I feel disappointed when you're right. The fair result was a draw. And it could have very well been a 2-2 draw, not a 1-1 draw, given the chances that were created. But it was a draw. And I felt disappointed because I felt that when we were attacking, we looked menacing for 60 minutes during that match.
Totally.
The first
we had
15
a product.
minutes we were holding on. It was a little bit back and forth, but it got to the point where they had more possession. And then that 15 minutes prior to maybe the last 10, they turned it on, especially right after Gibbs got the cheap shit goal. I mean, if they were going to score, that should not have been the one that went in. One of those free headers should have maybe gone in. 99 times out of 100, Hugo's stopping that little bleeder of a shot that went through his hands. Yeah,
well, that's why I made that comment. That I felt the result was fair because they ended up having more chances purely by way of crosses and balls whipped into the middle, and Giroud having a head. He should have scored 3, but take that away, and there was nothing that they did that scared us. There's nothing other than crosses from Ozil that had a chance on goal. So that's why I made the comment. No, really, I thought we had the better product. We had a better body. We had a better collective than they did.
Yeah.
And the time of possession shows that as well.
And prior to the show, we were kind of talking about things. And Simon, I want you to address this. It was kind of interesting after Lamela was taken off and they score that he had this. If you go back and if you remember the telecast or if you have it recorded, go back and look. There's a point where they're showing maybe it was Pochettino, and you could see Lamela behind him, and he's just staring off into outer space directly at the pitch. And Simon, your comment was what?
If I'd stayed on, we would have won this game.
And Sam replied, "You were probably absolutely right."
Yeah, I think you need to look at what happened prior to the goal, and I think I don't know who Son went up for with the header, but he wasn't even close. It fell to Özil cross and Gibbs scored.
Yeah. Well, no. Here's what happened. So he's on Debuchy, right? And the way it works is Debuchy has an overlapping run. Rose is supposed to pick up Debuchy, but what happened was that Son went with him, and as a result, he gave Ozil, because Debuchy passed the ball to Ozil, Ozil had 10 minutes of space to get that cross in, and then he whips it in, and then Walker admittedly had given Gibbs space because Ozil wasn't supposed to have that much space to cross in time to cross the ball in, and that's how that goal got scored. And really, it was a great cross, but and that was the only thing that Ozil really did all day long. I mean, he had good corners, but other than that, he was non-existent.
Yeah, and even on Twitter, I didn't think LaMelo played that great of a first half, but everybody was asking me if I was blind, that they thought he was playing exceptionally well. And maybe I was just a little frustrated. I'm a little hard on him at times because I am such a big fan of his. I want him to be perfect all the time. I want him to be getting assists and goals all the time, and he's been in that run of form, and now he's not.
Well, you know what happened? Remember in the 4th minute, he fucking abuses Koscielny.
Yeah.
He does that double swipe over thing, and Koscielny's on his backside. And that's supposed to be one of the best fullbacks in the league. And so that's when it just kind of hit me. I was like, there's his genius. You know, that's what it's these glimpses of just magic that he can produce. And then it was almost as if like the players around him, like Kane he crossed over him and had his back to him, didn't know where the ball was coming. Oh, it could have been so amazing.
And Simon, from an execution standpoint, were you surprised at all that we came right after him? That we didn't sit back and try to play counterattack. We attacked.
Yeah, I thought you know, as we've seen several times this season, we invited them probably for the first 10 minutes. Which I don't know why we do that. It just seems to happen that we egg on their attack and kind of, I don't know if it's to give them a false sense of hope or whatever, but then we kind of ease ourselves in. We get that possession, the pressing game starts, and we push up the field, and then we attack. And they kind of ran true to form on Sunday, and we were all over them in that first half. We should have been a couple goals up at halftime for sure. I know Kane had that other shot that kind of took a deflection of Koscielny, and it could have gone anywhere. Toby had the header that.
Oh, what a header that was!
Well, actually, I think those were both second half. But
second half.
Yeah, that was.
And we could definitely have capitalised, and obviously we needed to. I think this is still a Tottenham team that needs to score 2, because there's always that nagging, we're going to let one in, and obviously it happened, and I think you made the point. Hugo, I think he's probably kicking himself, because that's a goal that he would have saved 99% of the time. I think Walker was playing a little too shallow, a la Swansea on the cross for their first goal, and that was just a little disappointing. But that was really the only blip, and obviously the lead up with the Sun miss. I keep thinking, I know that LaMelo was on a yellow, and he's got that feisty character. You just don't know if he's going to get a second yellow. And I understand why he came off, but where the Sun's just not match fit still, it obviously didn't work out well. And obviously from Arsenal's viewpoint, Gibbs coming on as a sub in replace of, was it Campbell? It paid off for Wenger. So he looks like he came up smelling of roses, which is a disappointing aspect of the day. But overall, I thought it was a great performance, and I know I sent you guys, because I found it on some Spurs fan page, the ratings from the Sun, which were just ridiculous.
No, it was ridiculous.
I thought that was unbelievable.
Ali worked his socks off. I think Lamela had a great game, and they both got a rating of 5, while Debussy and Cazorla got 6s. Cazorla had to go off because he was dizzy, not because he was sick. I just think he got run ragged, and he just couldn't keep up. He was useless in that first half, and Debussy was absolutely owned. So whoever that journo was, he's a complete fucking idiot.
Yeah, I was shocked at those rankings.
Yeah, I mean, that's any neutral would have seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't got my navy blue tinted glasses on.
And Kenny, I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Well, and it revolves around Lamela. If you were the manager there, would you have subbed him?
No.
Yep.
I wouldn't
Chairs,
have.
you?
Easy to say in hindsight, fellas.
Well, I mean,
no. Listen, I'm going to tell you.
Why, Kenny? Why?
Let me expound on that. I wouldn't have subbed him because even though he went in and had that sliding challenge, he knows when he has to be tenacious. This team itself. This would be the second time, because now he has 5. This will be the second time this year that we've had a player suspended for 5 yellows. Dyer was the other one. We had 0 last year. And there's other players on 3 and 4. that are right at the cusp.
Ali is one of them, right?
Yeah, Ali is one of them. I think